Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here for the week 2 challenge for the Autumn Days events that are happening in the Line.Arrow Facebook group. This month I have released my kit, Autumn Days. It's 21 pages. You can find it in my Etsy shop. The link will be down below. There is a discount as well on for October, so make sure you grab it while it's at the lower price. Alongside the release of my Autumn Days kit, I am running 3 challenges in the Line.Arrow Facebook group, 1 per week. This is week 2. I will have week 1's video also linked down below in case you missed that one and want to check that out. Just a reminder that if you post your makes in the Line.Arrow Facebook group, you are using the hashtag Autumn Days, because for every post that you have, your name will go into a drawing, and then at the very end of the month or very beginning of November, I will do a winners drawing for everybody that has participated. And it doesn't matter whether you have used pages from the paid kit or any of the freebies that I have had available throughout October. Right, okay, so this week's challenge then, as I said, there are some freebies, so I'll show you those first. So we have a page of cut aparts. Now you may notice that there's 2 of everything. That's because I have mirrored them. So obviously you've got them facing one direction and then I've mirrored them so they're facing the other direction. That will be useful for the challenge this week, but of course you don't have to use them for the challenge. You can have them as cut aparts and use them to decorate your journal if you wish to. But this is freebie page 1, and there are 2 freebie pages this week. The second one is this page here. So it's a background of mushrooms, but there's some sort of sellotape in the background and some script. And it's just made very sort of like brownish. So that's your journaling page. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the challenge, but you can just use this as a page in your journals. Okay, so as I said, this page is useful for the challenge this week because this week's challenge is to make some dangles. So I thought you may want these double-sided. You can, of course, if you don't want to be cutting them out and trying to stick them back to back, you can of course use this as a backing page so there is at least a pattern on the back. So that is an option. That was another reason why I've just given you a page like this. I do not like fussy cutting. Those of you that have been watching for a while, fussy cutting is my enemy. So I used my Cricut to cut these out. So I have them already here, cut, ready to go. And as you can see, my Cricut cuts them out really well. So it saves me a job, and my Cricut is much more quicker than I could ever hope to be, and much more accurate. It gets in all of the fine details. So I have mine all cut out. I'm also going to be using, I recently placed an order with Papercrafts. I have done an unboxing video, so if you want to check out everything that I received, then yeah, go back to that video. But I am going to be making some dangles using these clasps. Now this was inspired by a happy mail that I received. So I got this as part of a happy mail as a dangle. So it was the inspiration, and when I saw these clasps, that's why I decided to buy them. But I just absolutely love this ribbon, and then it's attached to other things as well. There's even a little shaker element, but I just thought that was so pretty, and it's ever so light as well, which is another reason why I really liked it, because I thought, well, that's perfect for journals because it's not too heavy. So even if I was to attach this to the end of a page on a tab or something, it's not heavy, it's not going to pull the page down, so it's unlikely to tear. But I just thought that was ever so pretty. So that was my inspiration for today and for buying these clasps from Papercrafts. Right, I'm going to go and grab some more supplies that I'm going to need to create these dangles, and then we can get going with this week's challenge. Okay, so as well as my cut aparts, as well as my clasps, I've also gathered bits of kind of crochet lace, some ribbons, some eyelash trim. As I said in, I think, my previous video, I've had a lot of eyelash trim that was gifted to me in Happy Mail. So thank you very much to those people that have gifted that to me, because they are perfect for this particular type of task. I also have pulled out some of these crochet trims. These were also from my order in BB Craft. There were 7 different types, so I've just gone through and I've picked out some of the thinner ones because these clasps aren't particularly wide, so I didn't want anything too wide and bulky. Right, so all I'm going to do first is move those to one side, and I'm going to start putting together some of these. So I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see. Okay, so these are all my different bits and pieces. So I'm just going to try and find the ones that are opposite. So I've got my house here. And as you can see, I have mirrored them and they are the exact same size. So they fit perfectly together once they are cut out. So I'm just going to glue a few of these together. Now I did have this all cut out twice. So I've got double the amount. So that's not a mirroring one. So I have got double the amount, so I'm not going to stick them all together today on camera, but I just wanted to stick a few together so we can do a few dangles together, and then I can do some more off camera, and then I'll post pictures in the Facebook group and on my Instagram so you guys can see. So let's stick some of these together, and again I'm using my Barely Art glue. I found that this is such a really good glue, and I love the fact that you only need a teeny tiny amount and it sticks really well. Once these are all stuck together and the glue is dry, I will give them a little bit of an ink around the edge as well. Okay, so just making sure that's all lined up. Okay, let's do the hands. Now these are a good size. If you obviously want them smaller, if you're going to be using them on dangles like I am, and you want them a bit smaller, you can of course shrink your page, because as I say, the whole page has been sized so that the mirrored images are the right size. So once you print it off, everything on the page will be the right size. So there's that one. Let's do one of these mugs as well. It has been lots of fun seeing everybody's makes in the Facebook group. Some people have also been posting on Instagram as well, which is fantastic. As I say, just make sure that you're using that hashtag or tagging me in so I can find you. But it's been really lovely seeing how people are using these papers. Right, what else have we got? So we've got mushrooms, we've got a couple of leaves. Right, so that's the opposite of the mushroom, so let's do that one. Oh, can't pick it up. There we go. And yep, that looks opposite. It's a bit difficult with the leaves to tell whether they're opposite or not. And that's another thing I love about the cricket. Even that fine stem, it's managed to cut out. I'm probably going to snip that off in a minute because trying to glue that together is going to be almost impossible. So I'll line up everything else, and then this bit I'm just going to pull off because I don't need that stem. Right, let's see if we can find, yep, the opposite. And I'm going to try and do at least one of each, just so we can kind of see how they all look together. So there's that one. What are we missing? We're missing the banner. We're missing the pumpkin. There we go, that's a pair. But as I say, these do not need to be used as dangles. You're quite welcome to use these freebies however you like in your crafts. You could just use them as a page decoration, just to add some embellishment to your page. Oh, we've got the boots as well. Is that opposite? Yep. Now if you've purchased the full kit, you'll know that these boots have like laces coming all over the place. Well, obviously I knew that would be a bit of a mission for people to cut out, so I did remove the lace from this side. Okay, so that's that one. So it's just the banner now, I think, and then everything else is a double. Is that right? Yep. Right, okay, so they're all double, so I'm just going to move those to the side. I'm going to put my pin back in, otherwise that will dry out. Okay, so these are all the different double-sided dangles. So as I said, I'm just going to give them a little bit of an ink around the edge, and I've been using this Versa Magic. It's a chalk ink and it's a pumpkin spice, so it's a lovely colour, perfect for this kit. Oops, mess up the table. Now obviously inking is optional. As I've said in my last challenge video, I'm not inking because I want it to look vintage. It just kind of gives the edge a bit more of a definition. So it's not to make it look vintage or anything. That's not the effect I'm going for this time. Right, there's one. Right, okay, so that's all of those bits then inked. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through all of these trims, and I'm just going to cut lots of different strips, because obviously at the moment I've just got a big mess. So I'm just going to cut lots of different strips, and then I'll be back in a moment and we can start thinking about how we're going to put these dangles together. Okay, so I have all of my strips cut up. I've got obviously all of these cut and inked. I've just pulled out a few of the clips. I've got some jump rings and a few of the bulb pins as well. So as I said, I was inspired by this one. So I might do something similar where I've got the banner and then the bulb pin, and then that's when I was thinking of adding these dangles instead of obviously these elements here. So I think I'll build up the banner bit first. So I'm going to start with the orange, then maybe something a bit lighter behind. Now my clips aren't particularly wide, so I can actually cut this one in half, which I think I'm going to do, because obviously that is quite wide. Okay, so that's it cut in half. Just as the other one is in my inspiration piece, I am going to just snip that point at the bottom. So it's got like a banner at the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same with this. Okay, so that would sit like that. And then I might have a strip of the brown. And again, I'm just going to try snip to the middle. something like that, and then maybe a dangle of eyelash trim at the front. I think I'm just going to lower that slightly. I'm going to trim off this slightly. And then the eyelash trim. Okay, let's try those together. So I'm just going to get everything straight up at the top. I will trim the eyelash trim a bit in a moment. Then using one of these, just going to hook it over and squeeze. And then just to give it an extra squish, I'm going to use one of these tools. Okay, so that then holds everything together. Now I am going to just snip that. Okay, so I've got my eyelash trim. I don't mind that it's kind of curling all over the place. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so now I've got that, I need to decide what I'm going to have dangling with it. So I could have my house, could have the hands. I do quite like the hands because obviously you've got the yellow and then the yellow from that. So I think I'll go with those. So I've got a little hole punch here. Now it's up to you, obviously, when you're making your dangles, which way. So I don't know whether I want the hands up or hanging down. I think I might have them hanging down. So I'm just going to punch a hole just in the top corner. Now you can of course reinforce this with an eyelet if you wish. I'm not going to, because obviously I have I use 160 GSM, so obviously that being double-sided, that's, you know, quite sturdy now, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to take a split ring. Okay, and then, oops, not sure if I'll need another one. Let's just have a look. So I might use an orange bulb pin. Now these little clasps do have like a little hole in the top for you to be able to hook on. So I'm just going to put that one on top as well. Oops. So there you have a dangle. Now obviously if you do not have these clasps, you can just put either a couple of stitches in by hand, you can sew on your sewing machine to pin those together, you could just use the bulb pin to kind of pin and grab them together as well. You don't have to necessarily have the clasp, but yeah, I quite like those. Okay, brilliant, that's the first one done. One dangle, and as I say, they're nice and light, so when you hook this onto your journal, it is nice and light. It's not going to pull on the page or anything, so that's nice and light. Right, there's one. Okay, let's move on and do another one. So I'm not going to use the orange this time. I've got this red. Oh, that eyelash trim gets everywhere, doesn't it? Let's get rid of all those bits of fluff. So I'm going to use the red this time. So again, I am just going to snip up at a point just to create that kind of banner. Then going to use again some of this, so I want it cut about there, and I'm only going to snip at one angle this time. I have that along there. Then I've got these pieces, So I think I might have that one over there. Although I might have that one because then it looks like the angle's all going the same way. So I'll have that one. Oops, and then again a bit of trim in front, so it's either one of these or this. I think I'll go with this one. So again, I'll trim it down in a moment. I just want to get everything in place. I'm just going to grab it all, grab my clip, make sure everything goes inside the clip. Give it a pinch as best I can with my hands, and then use these just to give it that extra squeeze. Okay, and then as I said, I'm just going to trim that eyelash trim as well. Okay, and then for this one, because we've used some reds, I don't know, I've got a mushroom and the leaves. I mean, I might do a kind of double dangle. Yeah, let's do that. So let's punch a hole and one at the bottom. And a hole there. Now, I'm not normally very good at these kind of fiddly tasks, but I am determined to kind of do a bit better. So I'm trying to practice more and more. I mean, I've got all these tools to help me. I am going to make this one slightly longer, so I'm going to let this dangle a bit more. Oh, actually, no, I won't, because obviously you've already got 2 bits dangling off, haven't you? So let's close that again. And then that one at the bottom. Okay, so they're going to dangle like that. And then I can use this one this time. And that hooks through there. And whoops, and on that one. And again, you've got a dangle. I really, really like those. And as I say, I really love that they're just so light. They're going to be brilliant in a journal. Yep, I love those. Okay, let's do maybe one more. Let's do one more. Okay, what colours have we got? So maybe we'll use an orange again. But I might make this one a little bit shorter. So I think I'm going to have my house. I do like my house. I'm going to have my house, but I'm going to make these banners a little bit shorter. So obviously I've got this small red piece. And then this one I want just slightly longer. And again, snipped. Snip to a point. Oops. So we've got those two. I'm thinking, yeah, I need to snip it about there. I'm going to put that one in between. Okay, and then okay, maybe this over the top. So I just need to snip it roughly where those circles start. So I might do this one a little bit different. I might use my eyelash trim in a different area. So that's my clip. Oops. Now I'm sure BB Craft had different sized clasps of these, so I am tempted. I might have to look into some larger sizes as well. I mean, this size is still great. I do like it, but I might look into something bigger as well. Okay, so I'm going to need and I think I might add an extra ring as well, just so it's got a bit more of a dangle. And let's have a look. I think I might go with the orange for this one. So I'm going to put that on. Going to put that on. And then I was also thinking, do I want that one? Yeah, I've also got this, so I'm going to tie this onto the bulb pin. So it doesn't have to look super amazing or anything. But that's also then on the bulb pin. Okay, and that's my third little dangle. Okay, so those are my 3 dangles. It has been fun having a little play around with them. I like, again, that they're double-sided, because at least then once they are dangling from a journal, if they start twizzling around, then you've got something on both sides. As I said, if you did not want to stick them back to back, then you can use the other freebie page and then have that as the backing. So again, like I say, when it does start moving around in your journal, at least there is then something on the back. But I think, yeah, these are a fun little make. I'm so glad I had that inspiration, and thank you to BB Crafts for sending me those clasps, because they are absolutely brilliant. As I say, if you do not have those clasps, you can just clip everything straight onto the bulb pin, or sew either by hand or by my machine across the top, just to kind of keep all of those pieces together. I really love how these have turned out. I've still got some bits left over, so I'll probably be making some more, and then you'll be able to see these on my journal when I do my flip through at the end. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. As I said, if you have a go at making a dangle, whether you use fabrics with it or just the paper parts, it doesn't matter. Make sure you're posting in the Line.Arrow Facebook group, you're using the hashtag autumn days, and then you'll be entered into the prize drawing. Also, please go and check out members of the design team. They will be all listed down below. They have also been making some fabulous stuff with the kit. So yeah, go and check those out if you're after some inspiration. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.